This is ironwood. This is a cool tree. It's an easy tree to learn. If you look at the bark, you see all this flaky, exfoliating bark coming off. And as we move up the canopy and look at the leaves, we see single leaves with double teeth on them. Now it'll be hard to focus in right now. The cool thing about this tree is in the Great Lakes Forest, it doesn't get a whole lot further north than this. Maybe as far as going up to Algonquin Park. This tree, ironwood, Austria virginiana, is called ironwood because the wood is so dense and so hard. When you're cutting it with a chainsaw, you actually see sparks fly. And when you put it in your wood stove, it burns incredibly hot. It doesn't get much bigger than this. And this tree, when we look at it, is probably, I'm guessing, just by judging by how big they grow in this part of the world, it's probably about 70 years old.
Wow. Well, you found something interesting, did you not?
I have no idea what it is.
And you have no idea what it is?
Apparently it's basswood fruits.
Okay. And who identified that for you?
Dr. Stephen Newmaster.
Hello again.
I might have to call you Dr. Treemaster. It looks like you know these things quite well. Cool.
Interesting when you go through the woods and you see things and they have all these different shapes and sizes and you wonder, what is that? When Brian was wandering around, he found this hanging from a tree branch that had come down. And these are basswood fruits. They come out in the fall. Early in the year, they have this bract that comes off and the flowers are below. Late in the year, the bract stays on, and individually these drop down and they're carried around usually by squirrels and distributed. Allowing the species to be dispersed at much greater distances than the weight of the seed falling to the ground.
One of the neat stories that I learned in the last year about the Dairy Bush was that a student class in the mid-90s, one of the student projects that they did was dendrochronology. So they're looking at tree age based on the number of rings, the growth patterns in the wood. And so they take imagine as a corkscrew, pull out a cylinder of the tree and count the growth rings through it. Pete was looking for, basically, he wasn't looking for the oldest tree. He was looking for at a series of trees around the bush to see if there was a correlation between the diameter of breast height and the age. And what he found by surprise was that a couple of trees in here had not actually been cut. We presumed, or people thought at the point, that this slope had been cut when Guelph was settled. And what he found was that some of the trees had. This one is one of the two that he knows of that had germinated in the mid-1700s, about 100 years before Guelph was founded by John Galton in 1873.